कीर्तये नाम सहस्रं पौर्णमास्यां विशेषतः पौर्णमास्यां चन्द्रबिम्बे ध्यात्वा श्रीललिताम्बिकाम् सर्वे रोगा प्रणश्यन्ति दीर्घायुष्यञ्च विन्दति अयमायुष्करो नाम प्रयोगः कल्पचोदितः ज्वरार्तं शिरसि सृष्ट्वा पठेन्नाम सहस्रकं तत्क्षणात् प्रशमं यान्ति शिरोबाधा ज्वरोऽपि च सर्वव्याधिनिवृत्त्यर्थं सृष्ट्वा भस्मजपेदिदं तद्भस्मधारणादेव नश्यन्ति व्याधयः क्षणात् जलं सम्मन्त्र्य कुम्भस्थं नाम सहस्रतो मुने अभिषञ्चे ग्रहग्रस्तान् ग्रहा नश्यन्ति तत्क्षणान् सुधासागरमध्यस्थां ध्यात्वा श्रीललिताम्बिकां यः पठेन्नाम सहस्रं विषं तस्य विनश्यति वन्ध्यानां पुत्रलाभाय नाम सहस्रमन्त्रितम् नवनीतं प्रदद्यात्तु पुत्रलाभो भवेत् ध्रुवं देव्या पाशेन सम्बद्धामाकृष्टामङ्कुशेन च ध्यात्वा भीष्टां श्रियं रात्रौ जपेन्नाम सहस्रकम् आयाति स्वसमीपं सा यद्यप्यन्तः पुरं गता राजा कर्षणकामश्चेद्राजा वसदधिन्मुखा त्रिरात्रं यः पठेदेतत् श्रीदेवी ध्यानतत्परः स राजा पारवश्येन तुरङ्गं वामतङ्गजम् आरुह्यायाति निकटं दासवत्प्रणिपत्य च तस्मै राज्यं च कोशं च ददात्येव वशं गतः रहस्यनाम सहस्रं यः कीर्तयति नित्यशः तन्मुखालोकमात्रेण मुह्ये लोकत्रयं मुने यस्त्विदं नाम सहस्रं सकृत् पठति भक्तिमान् तस्य ये शत्रवस्तेषां निहन्ति शरभेश्वरः यो वाभिचारं कुरुते नाम सहस्रपाठके निवर्त्य तत्क्रियां हन्यान्तं वै प्रत्यङ्गिरा स्वयं ये क्रूरदृष्ट्या वीक्षन्ते नाम सहस्रपाठकं तानन्धान् कुरुते क्षिप्रं स्वयं मार्ताण्डभैरवा धनं यो हरते चोरैर्नाम सहस्रजापिनः यत्र यत्र स्थितं वापि क्षेत्रपालो निहन्ति तं विद्यासु कुरुते वादं यो विद्यान्नाम जापिना तस्य वाक्स्तम्भनं सद्यः करोति न कुलेश्वरी यो राजा कुरुते वैरं नाम सहस्रजापिना चतुरङ्गबलं तस्य दण्डिनी संहरेत् स्वयं यः पठेन्नाम सहस्रं षण्मासं भक्तिसंयुतः लक्ष्मीश्चाञ्चल्यरहिता सदा तिष्ठति तद्गृहे मासमेकं प्रतिदिनं त्रिवारं यः पठेन्नरः.
The Sahasranamam should be repeated, especially on the Purnamasi, the full moon day, meditating on the Mother Lalitha as seated in the disk of the moon. In the disk of the moon, in the disk of the full moon, the Sadakhya Kala, the day of the Eternal One, is in the form of Tripura and Vaining, which are the deities of Kameshwari to Chitra, from the 1st to the 15th day respectively. These 15 kalas are joined with the 16th and with the Anima and other 7 deities. Hence, the disk of the moon is the Sri Chakra itself of the Devi and not her image. Therefore, there is no Avahanam, invoking the deity to be present in the image, ceremony, etc. And worshipping her with 5 kinds of upacharas, one should repeat the Sahasranamam. Such a person gets all his diseases destroyed and obtains a long lease of life. worshipping, etc. Says the Shruti, He is that I, that He is I, that indeed art thou art indeed that, etc. Therefore, one should identify himself with the deity meditated upon. This is the chief worship. With five kinds, offering the sandal, of flower, of scent, of light, and of food. The Padma Purana describes the result of the worship thus: the thousands of horse sacrifices and hundreds of Vajapeya sacrifices are not equal to 1 lakh of a part of the worship of Lalita. He is the giver of gifts. He is a sage. He is a sacrificer. He is the performer of penance. He is the pilgrim who worships the smeared the Devi with sandal. One gets the results of Jyotishostoma sacrifice. Further, having applied Lalita with sandals, paste, agaru, and karpura with fine powders, and with kunkuma, one will reside in heaven for crores of years. Or, as the rule lays down, inner and outer worship of the householder always should perform, etc. One should perform two kinds of worship. Inner worship, indeed, is the identification of Devi with himself. Outer worship is with offering of sandal, flowers, etc., only with mental ideas. This process is called the Ayushkara, tending to increase the length of life, Prayoga, and is mentioned in the Kalpas. Kalpas. The Kalpas are the works written by Parashurama and other rishis. The Tantras are also indicated by the term Kalpas. The process referred to as Ayushkara Prayoga is as follows. On an auspicious full moon day, when the duration of the full moon lasts from sunrise to the whole of that day, get up at early morning, observe the caste rules, and regard the daily rites. During the japa, let your mind and eyes be steadily fixed on the Devi, identified in the dusk of the moon. Withdrawing yourself therefrom, attend to your physical surroundings, rise from the seat, offer presents to the followers of the Samaya sect, and receiving their blessings. In these words, let this ceremony, which you so devotedly performed, be an accomplished fact. May Tripurasundari be pleased with your devotion. Go and take your meals. They who perform the daily Nitya worship of Devi are entitled to do the worship called Naimittika, obligatory. They who perform the above two are fit to celebrate the Kamya, optional worship. Thus, the Tantra. By touching with the palm of the head of a feverish person, reciting the sahasranamam, fever and headache are got rid of immediately. Feverish person. The following is the prayoga on the day when the patient has a symptom of fever. The practitioner, having performed his daily avocations and sitting on a pure place, should make the sankalpa, saying, such a patient should get rid of fever, etc. This prayoga is called the fever remover. Next, he should allow the patient to sit on his right side, facing the north, and besmearing him with holy ashes with Panchadashi mantra. He should repeat the first part of the Sahasranamam, then place his right palm on the patient's head and recite the Sahasranamam. Next, he should remove his palm and recite the Phala chapter and feed the Brahmins. etc. If the practitioner has to do this for his fever, he should place his palm on his own head himself. The repetition should be continued till the fever subsides. As the Vedanta Sutras say, repetition should be continued as the instruction is repeatedly given. The repetition is for the sahasranamam only and not for the introductory and concluding parts, the first and the third chapters. This should be observed in all succeeding prayogas. By the external application of ashes, mesmerized with the sahasranamam for healing purposes, all diseases are immediately cured. O Muni, mesmerize a pot full of water with this sahasranamam and pour it on the head of a person who is possessed, and the graha, elemental, will at once leave that person. Graha, Balagraha, Pisacha, bad elementals, and 9 planets. By meditating on Mother Lalitha as seated in the midst of the nectar ocean and repeating the Sahasranamam, poison, if taken in, can be digested and assimilated. Wherever there is a Sri Chakra, there is one nectar pond. There are 2 nectar ponds in the city called Aparajita, the abode of the worshippers of the conditioned Brahman. The third is in the Brahmarandra, cerebrum in the head. Poison, both movable and immovable ones. The prayogas generally do not fail in their effects unless the practitioner is an ignorant one. By taking butter mesmerized with the Sahasranamam, barren woman will surely beget children. One who has no issue. There are 4 kinds of barren women. One who has no issue. One who begets children who do not survive. One who begets female issue only. And one who begets one issue only. At night, meditating on Devi as binding the desired woman by the noose and drawing by the elephant. If one recites the Sahasranaman, she comes to his side, even if confined in a harem. This relates to a story mentioned in the Mahatmya of Hanagunthapaita. Chandravadana, wife of the sage Narayana, was taken away by Seturaja, son of Chakra, and she was brought back by the sage after worshipping Devi alone. Some say this prayoga is intended for other desired women, also in order to test the mental power on other minds, and also to marry them to procreate healthy children. He should sit either eastern or northern faced for his prayoga. To conquer a king, one should turn to the side in which he, the king, lives, and repeat the Sahasranamam for 3 nights, fully devoted to the worship of Devi. 3 nights, days and nights. One should repeat always the Sahasranaman till 24th Prahara. A day consists of 30 Praharas. After concisely performing his daily duties, he may think on Devi as binding the king, etc. See the previous verse. The king, any king he desires, and the king, losing his independent spirit, rides a horse or an elephant to go to him, the devotee, before whom he prostrates like a servant, rides a horse, etc. He never comes alone like a thief, but comes riding on a horseback, etc. The king, being thus controlled, offers him his kingdom and treasury. By a mere gaze at the face of him who repeats the daily, the secret Sahasranamam, the 3 worlds get bewildered. The enemies of him who repeats the Sahasranaman with devotee once, at least, are killed by Sarabheshwara Any black magical part practiced against the repeater of the sahasranaman is ineffectual but is made by pratyagrinas to rebound upon the performer of the act and kill him instead. From this verse forward, the prayogas are simple. Saurabheshwara, an incarnation of Shiva, as mentioned in the Linga, Kalika, and other Puranas. In order to destroy the Nrisimha incarnation of Vishnu, the prayogas of Sarabheshwara are well known in the Tantras. This prayoga is mentioned here as the best destruction prayoga, as it was the cause of slaying even Vishnu. This is indicated here. This powerful god, Sharabha, though he belongs to other spheres and not completely worshipped by the devotees of Sri Vidya, and though unrecognized by many, strives himself to destroy his devotees' enemies. Therefore, the superiority of the devotees of Lalitha over the devotees of Sarabha is established. The same rule is to be applied in the following prayogas also. Any black magical senyagaga, etc., which cause the death of the enemies unknowingly. Pratyangiras. The Bhadrakali deity belongs to the Atharva Veda. She is described by 32 riks in the Saunaka Sakha and by 48 verses in the Paipalada. The prayogas are known in the Narada Tantra. Him that looks upon the repeater of the Sahasranaman with a cruel eye soon does Martanda Bhairava make blind. Martanda Bhairava, an incarnation of Shiva, born to Premapura in the Karnataka country and whose name is spread much in the Maharashtra country. His mantras and prayogas are described in the Mailara Tantra and in the Raudrayamala. The robber who dispossesses this repeater of this Sahasranaman of his property is wherever he conceals himself, killed by Kshetrapala. Kshetrapala, his mantras are known in the Tantras. The learned man who dares discuss or argue about the Vidyas with him, who devotes himself to the chanting of the Sahasranaman, is at once made dumb, held spellbound by Nakuleshwari. Vidyas, 14 Vidyas. Nakuleshwari. Her mantra is mentioned in the Aitrayaranyaka. The holy Parashurama has also mentioned in his Kalpasutras, and the prayogas are known in the Panchapashara, etc. When a king makes a war with the devotee of the Sahasranaman, Dandini herself destroys all his army. Dandini is well known in the Varaha Tantra. Destroys by creating quarrels among themselves in the army, by removing others, and by slaying some. Thus, 6 kinds of actions on black magic are mentioned in the above verses. They are described in the Sarabhachintamani. Thus, elevation, control, obstruction, enmity, separation, and destruction. The Tantra Raja says protection, tranquility, charm, success, conquest, and destruction. These are the 6 actions. They are not described in detail for fear or elaboration. One is referred to, the 23rd Tantraga, in the Saubhagya Ratnakara. If one chants this with devotion continuously for 6 months, the goddess of wealth will reside permanently in his house. Permanently. This is wealth giving prayoga against the unsteady nature of the goddess of wealth, which she changes on behalf of the devotees.